Good morning. Good morning. By 2025, your ability to purchase a property in Rochester, New York will be zero. What's up, guys? Discontent here, your favorite Rochester real estate agent. And here's the thing. What we are seeing in terms of from a data standpoint is a lot of homes are still coming on the market, but a lot of homes are not selling quite as they used to, especially not for the price point. I'm going to show you a lot of data. I'm going to show you a lot of statistics that back up this claim, and we're going to dive deep into it. But even before that, let's simply just look at the market watch from what's going on nearby. So the last 7 days, again, the most prominent thing that we're seeing on this graph is there's a lot of new listings on the market. None of them have price increases, at least not that many, and a lot of them are now going expired. When we looked at the data last week and the week before, this number was not as prevalent, right? This number simply wasn't as big. So when we look at everything from the entire MLS, which is Albany down, 300 expireds is a lot. 1,000 houses new on the market is a lot. So when we're looking at these data, what it's telling me is something. It's telling me one specific thing, that this number is prevalent, this number is prevalent, and this number is going down. Now, one of the big things that I'm noticing, especially as a professional agent in this market, is homes, specifically in very pocket areas, are still going above asking price. I'm actually writing for a client of mine as we speak, and I spoke with another agent and they said, hey, listen, mentioned to me, well, there's a lot of people still talking about rating $100,000, $200,000 above asking price. And if that's the market that we're in, well, it's going to go bonkers. But let's look at the data and the statistics to see, well, what's going on everywhere, how we can actually afford and even purchase properties going into 2025 and what the market is actually doing. Let's get to it.
Hey, real quick, if you like this kind of content, we send out to all of our private clients what we call the Rochester Report, which is how we help them win in today's market. If you want that for yourself, just go to therochesterreport.com, or I'll put the link in the description. Sign up. It's totally free, completely free, and then you can get all the information that we send to our private clients as well. Okay, back to the video. Thanks so much. Cheers.
All right, we are in my favorite website of all time. Let's look at the market statistics for the last 27 counties, especially just this month alone, because we are now in August, right? Excuse me, we are now in September, my favorite birthday month. And we shot this content, and we talked about this last week, which was in August. So this is the monthly update. But looking at this, if we just look at it from the prior month and this month alone, one of the things that we're seeing here is this. Number one, active inventory is still down. Number two, new listings are still down. And September's month of closings are still technically up, but compared to last year's, they're down. Now, what specifically does this mean for you? Well, here's a few things. Number one, with the higher and higher rates as it is, what we're seeing is with a 45-day, maybe even a 60-day window of homes that have to go through title, through insurance, through mortgage commitments, they're selling. So the reason that this stop is happening is, well, simply due to the nature of the fact that July and August homes still sold versus the past time, which was 2-3 weeks ago, where the market really cooled down, as we talked about last week. This number is going to change. I'm willing to bet a lot of money that this number, this specific sequence of greenery, will go down. I got a fly in my house. It's kind of annoying. This will go down. I promise you. If we look at it from next month, it is going to say the exact same thing. Specifically, comparing it to last year, I mean, there's no question about it. There's still no inventory. And at the same time, even with less inventory, there's still less closed deals, which is crazy when you think about it, right? And if we look at just purely Monroe County, which is here, what are we going to see? Well, we're going to see a few things. Number one, still low inventory. Number two, closed sales are down. And number three, here's what I wanted to show you. Look at this number. What does this mean for you? Well, what this means is very simply put, homes are 15% less. The quantity of homes are 15% less than they were last month. Now, you can blame schools. You can blame the rates. You can blame the electoral, whatever. Right? But if you look at the last video that I made, and I talked about all these homes, 96% of the time will appreciate regardless of market condition, will appreciate regardless of presidency. The closed transactions are down. Active inventory is still down in Monroe County. And this is exactly what we talked about last week. I told you the closed transaction quantity will be down. New listings are also down. So buying a home number one, becomes harder with the higher rates, and number two, due to simply lack of quantity. Simply put, there's less houses to buy and harder to buy those houses. So a lot of things that we have to consider, especially from different perspectives. But let's look at these things here as well. In terms of market review, specifically in terms of what happened in August, in the last 13 months, and then year to date. It doesn't let me go past that, but here's a few things. I want to look at year to date first. Compared to last year, appreciation is up, transaction counts is down, which is crazy to think about, right? And compared to the last 13 months, what we're seeing is a few things. So number one, in terms of transaction counts, it's still down, right? February was probably the worst month that we had with transactions, started to go steady up. And we're at this point right now where we're similar to October. August was still pretty hot last year, but we're in the October trends. Appreciation will always go down. Appreciation will always go up. And it's how it kind of works. But when we also look at active inventory, in October and September and in August, we had 5,000. Now we're at 4,500. Active inventory level is also going down. And it makes sense from a seller's perspective because the question has to remain, when someone sells a house, where are they going to? And if you're a baby boomer and you are someone that's looking to retire, great, you've got something taken care of. But if you're looking to level up, if you're looking to upsize, if you're looking to go out of state, out of country, whatever, where? You still need some place to live. And if it's difficult for first-time home buyers to buy a house, how difficult do you think it'll be for you? So all the questions definitely have to play a role. And again, I want to talk about how to combat this in the later portions of this because the last thing I want to be is a negative Nancy. But when we look at this, there's a few things here that we definitely need to look at. Number one, even sales price is lower. When we look at everything else, the sales price always went up because of appreciation. This is going to be a big red. Number two, closed transaction counts down. Well, this week, and the last week it actually went up, which is kind of surprising. But this week we're down 25%. Days on market, I'm guessing this number hasn't shifted a whole lot. But at the same time, it's still down by 1 day. 1 day makes an 11% difference, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. And this is comparing to last year. This is comparing to weekends of last week. Active inventory, same thing. Down a little bit. This is what I'm really curious about. I'm very curious about these two things here. Number one is pending sales. Pending sales actually went up, which really surprised me. I'm man enough to admit that I was wrong. Because I thought this number was going to go down very, very fast. My other prediction is this. When people, specifically buyers, are seeing this and you're guesstimating, you're like, hey, now homes are still in the market. I can buy these now. I have the ability to negotiate. That's going to drive up traffic as well. It tends to always reach a level of equilibrium. So it's a really, really unique thing when you look at that. But this number does surprise me. Let's look at the final thing, which is unsold homes, unsold listings. There was a lot more unsold homes. This number is a lot higher. This is 40% higher than 2023 and 25% higher than 2024. That's a lot. We have 25% more unsold listings compared to last week and 40% more compared to last month. These numbers definitely play a massive role when we think about everything. And then I think that's all we're looking at. But these numbers are very unique. And when you think about it purely from a ubiquitous standpoint, it tells you that the market is shifting. It tells you that homes that are priced correctly are still selling, but at the same time, the tendency is definitely low. Let's look at the final thing that I want to talk to you guys about, and then we will part ways merrily. And I wanted to talk about what does this mean for you as well. Obviously, as the consumer, it's not market insight, it's pricing insights. So let's take a look at all of these. We just want to go Monroe County, and again, I'm not trying to scare you, but it does mean there's more opportunities for you to buy homes. We are licensed real estate professionals in the great state of New York. If we can help you anyway, love the chance to do so. For whatever reason, this is not loading, but select all. Last 3 months, select all. Hopefully we're good now. So let's look at this. Looking at this in terms of how many homes were listed at what price point and what price point they sold at, this number right here, this is the median. The median sales price is $264,000, and that's including suburbs. If we look at just inner city of Rochester, there's no way, right? If we look at just inner city of Rochester, which let me see, if it'll even let me do that. Rochester. I don't think it will. For whatever reason, it never lets me just go in the inner city, which is really kind of annoying, but whatever. That's the home price, right? There's homes in Henrietta that are still selling for way more. But at the same time, like, you're looking at it, there's still some that are above here. This is Webster, Pittsburgh. There's still that are, obviously outliers here, but for the most part, you're gonna get around here. So that's what I want to show you guys. Now, a few things, right? If you are looking to sell your home, what does this mean for you? Well, first and foremost, this means a few things. Number one, you need to price it correctly. You're not pricing a home and guesstimating that you're going to get above asking. Stop listing a house with the expectation that you're going to get 40, 50 offers. That's just not how it works anymore. And a lot of agents are getting frustrated with themselves and their lack of ability to converse with the sellers and say, hey, listen, you should actually list the price correctly. You should list it for what you want. Because a lot of times they're not doing that. The sellers are getting really upset because, well, they're not getting the true number of what they want because, well, they're like, oh, we'll create competition. It's not how it works anymore. You need to list it at a reasonable price point. And if I'll tell you this, the market will tell you if you're right or if you're wrong. Not buyers, not sellers, the market. The market will tell you if you're right or if you're wrong. And if your house is overpriced and you're listing it overpriced, well, maybe it's the agent's fault for driving up crazy numbers. That's my thought. Secondarily, if you are a buyer, you now have an option to purchase properties at a really good deal. And this means a lot of things. Deals can mean seller financing abilities, buy down rates. This can mean options with loan officers that give you credit and cash backs. This can mean actually getting a lower price on the house. So a lot of really cool things are happening. Make sure you're working with the right agent for both buying and selling a property. Make sure you understand the market as clearly and as articulately as you possibly can because the market is shifting. The question is, are you able to buy a house in 2025? Well, yeah, but also no. You need to be careful of what you're looking at. You need to be careful that your debt to income ratio isn't crazy. You should not be buying a house for the purpose of just buying a house. You need to make sure that you can actually afford it from the perspective of the banks. And if you can't, then bankruptcies and foreclosures and all these things are predicted to happen will happen. You don't just want to become a number. Look at the numbers. Make sure you understand the value of those numbers and ultimately articulate that with the loan officers. Articulate that with your agent, and your agent should be able to demonstrate exactly what they're looking at, how they can help you find the perfect property, and ultimately make sure that you can purchase that property. Thank you so much. This is not meant to scare you. I hope you like my mustache. If you do, appreciate you. Keep watching. Next videos. See you.